fellow didn't even know what letter in Arabic would be used for and. So when it says wa is and in Arabic here. So wahjuruhunna is and abandon their fil madaji in their beds, abandon them in their beds. And then again it says wa and wadribuhunna, and then you can beat them. So the first thing in the process to correct a domestic abuse situation at your place is fa'idhuhunna. So that's first thing. Fa'idhuhunna is to counsel them, and then comes wahjuruhunna fil madaji, and then you can separate your beds when you go to sleep, disapproving of the situation of her behavior. And then if she persists in her behavior, misbehavior, that's when you go wadribuhunna, and you can beat, God says. All right. So the Quran should be taken in a larger context. The larger context is an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, nose for a nose, ear for an ear. The same law, that's the Hebrew law in the Old Testament, the same applies. So if I beat up my wife and blow her nose off, she can go to a judge and have my nose blown away in retaliation. Okay? So that's just the way it is. When the Quran gives the permission to beat, it is for a disapproval. It's not like beating to submission. Beating to submission is not in the verse. It's not beating to submission. It is beating for disapproval, because the wife was involved in some form of domestic abuse, which was an offense to the relationship in a domestic setting. So the Quran only advocates equality. So if your wife has been the source of causing some domestic abuse, you can retaliate, but it lays down the steps for retaliation, which the first thing is counseling. The second step is disapproving of her misbehavior through sleeping apart. And the third step is using force. So that's what the Quran says. And he was such a cunning fellow. He said there is no ends in the Quran and went away without demonstrating it. So yeah, I'm done. If you have any questions, I can answer them.
Scholars know better than all of us.
No, I just
Okay,
want
no,
to.
I got it right here. My bad. Let me get that on the screen for you. 21-23.
Yeah, I just want to get this very clear, because what this man is saying, I've never heard any Muslim say before. So I really am perplexed. That's why I'm saying, is he a Shiite, a Sunni, or Quran only? But now we're going to get to the bottom of this.
Here, according to Ibn Kathir, he says this verse means he is the ruler whose rule cannot be overturned and none can object to it, because of his might, majesty, pride, knowledge, wisdom, justice, and subtlety. So basically, it is saying what I just said, that he cannot be questioned or cannot be, you cannot object. According to Ibn Kathir, he's talking about this specific verse. He's not really saying it is in context to something else.
All right, here it is right here. Here's what he sourced. I want to highlight. I'm sorry. I was trying to find what he sourced. Here you go. This looks like Ibn Kathir on the screen. Let me know if that's not what you had, Logical, if you can see the screen.
Yeah. I mean, I was just reading tafsir from one of my sources, surahquran.com.
Yeah, that's why I got a Quran.com on the screen. Right.
So look, you don't even
literally says here that he cannot be questioned. It's not really saying that, just for a specific purpose. It's listing God cannot be questioned, period. What he says, his word is justified, even if it goes against our intellect. For example, if it says something like, go do a jihad, we have to accept it, even if it doesn't suit us, if it makes us feel bad.
Logical Dava, you're completely ruining the context where I was approaching from.
I'm reading the Ibn Kathir.
No, you can read whoever you want. Okay, Ibn Kathir is not Ibn Kathir is. You don't even need Ibn Kathir. The verse itself is clear. The verse itself is clear.
So do you speak Arabic? Is it your native language? Do you know the context of the verse? Every verse was for a purpose, to teach people some kind of.
So in this context here, when the Quran says, "La yus'alu amma yuf'alu wa hum yus'alun," what is the context here? It's not even close to the textual criticism. It's not even talking about the textual criticism. It's giving you a teleological idea to the mushrikun, of Makkah. It's giving a teleological idea that you cannot question God for what he does, but you will be questioned on Judgment Day. That's what the context is. It's not even textual criticism.
But why cannot you question God? That's the point. Is the statement here is that God cannot be questioned. It does not really mean in what context. In any context, God cannot be questioned because he's the mighty. That's what Ibn Kathir is telling you.
That's what anyone would tell you. You don't even have to make reference to Ibn Kathir. That's what even I'm telling you. Okay? But what the Quran says is, to the believers, it says, the believers believe in my words. They don't question me. In that sense, it is justified because the believers already believe it. But the unbelievers, the disbelievers, they have every right to question. If someone is not satisfied with the Quranic passages, they can question the validity of the passages and the text. Just like as I'm doing, just as much as I'm doing with the biblical passages. Because I don't believe biblical passages to be the verbatim word of God. So I'm questioning their validity.
For example, I question the validity of this document to be from God. But if it's proven to be from God, we cannot question that. If it's proven to be from God, we have to accept it. We may not understand
that. That is what I'm telling you. Once you believe, you accept it.
Yeah, okay.
Once you believe it, you accept it. Right? That's what I said to you. I said to you, I don't even question when God says you can beat your women. I don't even question. You were the one who was questioning it. You were the one who wanted to add lightly there. I did not advocate that. Okay? I'm not questioning the Quran because I believe in it. You're the one who are having doubts in the Quran and you want to import the word lightly in it. I'm not the one. You're the one who's causing to do that.
We read it in context. Is it God's word to? But the thing is, God has certain rules that Prophet Muhammad is also to be followed, right? It says to follow God's word and Prophet Muhammad.
Okay, that's a different subject. I don't want to have a conversation about it here.
Why we have to see it in the context of hadiths.
According to me, you're misunderstanding the whole context.
This is how Sunni Muslim 90% of the Muslims are. We don't really have. We read we take the Sunnah and the Quran together. We cannot separate them because.
Are you aware that the Sunnah that you consider holy, the Shia doesn't consider that to be holy? Are you aware of the fact that?
The
Shia have a completely different Sunnah.
They're heretics. They even take mutah marriage and they do weird things. They consider Imam to be divine. We don't. This is shirk.
Do you know that they consider you as unworthy? Do you know that?
Shias are the minorities. They are heretics.
No, like look, hang on. Do you know that they Shia as a body will consider you as unworthy? Are you aware of that?
I don't care. Yeah.
Then keep quiet, man. Don't pass comments. Don't pass comments. You're not the judge. You're not God Almighty. Okay.
No, Islam is a certain way. Shias are minority.
According to you, you can justify whatever you want to do, but according to them, you're unworthy.
If you compare the actually like how it's coming from the generations of the. I mean,
get away.
You have your own
Don't be judgmental. Don't be judgmental. Stop being judgmental, man.
This is the truth. This is the way
you might call them heretics, but they will call you heretic. All right? Just stop being judgmental. Stop being judgmental. They don't even
consider Quran to be the that it is. They say there are errors in Quran. Do you accept it?
Look, what matters for you is your faith in Almighty God and your conviction.
You are a heretic too. I'm sorry, but
wait, hold on. Do you believe there are errors in the Quran, Prophet Daniel? Because that was a good question.
I believe the Quran to be error-free document.
Okay, so to his point, the Shiites believe that there are errors.
No, Shias. I mean, he's. I don't know where he's getting his information from.
No, the
Shias don't believe that.
It will be the proper Quran will come later. They say that all because they don't. They even criticize Hazrat Aisha's.
That's a different thing, man. That's a different thing. Talk about the Quran. Talk about the Quran. That's a different thing. Talk about the Quran. The Shias believe in the Quran. Do you know that?
All the wives of Prophet Muhammad are considered to be what do you call it, clean and proper and stuff, but Shias criticize Prophet Muhammad's wife, so they are already not considering the fact in Quran to be correct. They are going against Quran. They don't believe that everything is proper. They believe in the from their imam what they say their interpretation is.
I
I
don't
mean,
know where you're
Shia,
learning.
did you
I
even
don't know
study
where you're
Shia's
learning
religion?
these things, but these are dangerous things.
This is
Okay.
Shia's religion. That's why they're heretics.
Let
Okay,
Shias
you
speak
study
for
their religion and then come
themselves.
back.
Let
Hmm?
Shia speak for themselves. Why do you want to speak about
This is
Shia,
in
what they
their
believe,
book. This is in
what
their
they do
book.
not believe?
Like,
You're
so
speaking a
if I
bunch of
follow
lies
Sunnah,
here.
right? If I follow Sunnah and in like Bukhari it says something like that fast, and I say I'm not fasting, then I'm not Sunni because I'm going against my own belief. So if they're
That is your
heretic,
understanding of who a Sunni is. When Sunni and Shia happened back in history, historically speaking, Bukhari didn't even exist. Bukhari didn't even
that's your
exist back
opinion.
then. Do you understand that bit? Historically
We
speaking,
have
Bukhari was
so
born
like so
100 years later to
yeah,
the
because
divide of Shia and Sunni. He didn't even
people knew.
exist. What are you even
Yeah, so the
talking?
word
You have no
so the
knowledge.
yeah, the hadiths were actually spoken. They were written. Bukhari collected the correct ones after studying them. So the hadiths were always there. Without hadith, we don't know what Prophet Muhammad taught.
Do
And
you
Quran says to
know
follow
do you
Allah
know
and
when
Prophet
the
Muhammad. Are
civil
you
do
you
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 know
created your
when the
own
divide
religion, dude?
happened? When the great schism happened in Islam? Do you know the historically speaking when it happened? And Bukhari was not even a baby in his mother's
Bukhari
womb.
is just a collector of hadiths. He's not the writer of hadiths. Hadiths are written by Abu Bakr. He's is written by the what do you call it? The cat lover, Abu Huraira. He's the biggest, and from Hazrat Aisha, Hazrat Radhiyallahu Ta'ala, all Shias reject all of this, even though these are the people they were told to be, like Prophet Muhammad said that these are the people who will carry on the message. And you're saying that Shias come here and say they are bad, they are wrong, they are corrupted, and you say they're not heretics. Are you? I mean, I'm just going by what is known. I'm not making up things.
Look, the Shias believe in the Quran, and you just claimed they don't believe in the Quran. That's
No,
categorically
they
an
believe in
error.
Quran. They don't say no. They say the Quran, the one we have right now, is not the original Quran. They
You
believe that
are absurd. You're absurd.
you don't know that. Okay, do you know what Shias actually believe? Like why they beat themselves? Like what is the purpose of beating
Man,
themselves?
that's not
Do
even
you
in the
know?
Quran, man. That's not
No,
even
no, no.
you
What I'm
do
that's what I'm asking.
you
I'm
do a
trying to see
lot
if
of
you know about
stuff.
Shia.
You do a lot of stuff that's not in the Quran. And the Shia also do a
Yeah,
lot
so
of
I'm
stuff
trying
that's
to.
not in the
I'm not
Quran.
saying, bro. I'm not saying that this isn't Quran. I'm asking you, do you know about Shia's practice? Why they even do that? The practice. What is the purpose?
Okay,
Because I'm
I
trying to
know
see
one
if you know about
thing.
Shia.
I know one thing
Yeah.
about the Shia. I know that they believe in the Quran as much as you would want to believe in the
No.
Quran. Period.
No. 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 They do not think the Quran is that is error free. They believe that there are some mistakes in Quran, and the
You are,
completion will come
I
later.
don't know where you are learning these things, but you are completely
Wow.
unreliable at this
Okay,
point in
I'm trying to
time.
see. Okay, do you
Okay.
know about Chia? Do you know? Okay, do you know why they beat themselves? What is the purpose?
Look, man,
Like, I'm just trying to see if you know.
what I suggest you, logical dawa,
No, just answer my question.
have a dawa show with a Shia person, and he will teach you
No,
what
no,
he
no. I'm not
believes.
talking to heretics.
Just,
They're
just have,
crazy. Okay, why
oh
they?
my goodness. You
The
don't want to
Quran
talk to
says
them and
not to
understand
hurt
what they
yourself.
believe, and you want to have your own narrative going on.
Are you
How is it gonna
Shia?
get
Are
credible,
you Shia?
man?
Are you Shia? So, okay,
I
tell
am
me.
Shia.
Do you
So
know about
what's the
Shias?
matter now? I'm Shia. Yes, I'm Shia. What is the matter?
Okay, okay. Why do Shia beat themselves? What's the purpose of it?
Look,
What's just trying to see if you're being honest or not.
look. That's not even in the Quran.
Yeah, I know, but do you know the purpose? I'm just trying to see if you're being honest.
I don't know how JP is letting you speak and divert the subject matter here,
That's
and
I'm
what.
fine.
just
This is actually in subject because
Yeah,
I
I'm
need
just
to
trying to
know
see if he
before.
knows
Okay,
about Chia.
JP.
That's it.
Okay,
Because he's claiming
I
to
will
know more
tackle this
than
guy
me.
now. I'll tackle this guy now.
Yeah.
What is your concern, logical dawa? Tell me.
I'm trying to see, do you have knowledge about Chia? Are you reading in Google right now? Why they beat themselves? Because you claim to know more about Chias,
Are you
and
reading
I'm
in
trying to tell
Google
you
right
what
now?
their theology. What?
Are you reading in Google right now? Is what you're asking me?
No, I'm asking you why they beat themselves. What's the purpose of? What is the purpose? Like, what are they trying to what do you call reenact? Why are they Bloodying themselves for what? Like, what is the purpose?
So how does it even matter if I answer that question?
So I know that you know about Shias because you don't. I don't think you know anything about Shia religion at all. You're claiming they believe Quran is how Sunnis believe. That's absolutely wrong. They believe Quran is not the proper one. It
Okay,
will
prove
come
it to
later.
me. Prove it to me. Prove your statement to me. Go to a Shia
Well,
source, which is like Ahlul Bayt, some
no,
source, and
you
show
have to
me.
do your homework. I'm not gonna come here teach you about things. You say they're not heretics, so you have
I'm
to
not
do
the
study
one
and
who
see
is
why
bringing
they're.
this subject here. You're the one who's brought up Shia here. So if you're making
Yeah,
a
okay.
claim on them, you better prove it. Don't just
You
keep
brought up the Shia first.
ranting.
You were
What
telling
you're
me
doing at this
that
point
they
in
are
time is just
this and that. I
ranting
say I don't care. You
endlessly.
said the Shia believe that I am heretic, and I say I don't care because nobody considered them as actually proper Muslims. So I don't care. You were the one brought the Shia issue in the,
I
and then
didn't
I
bring
was
it
trying to
up.
see if you even know about them.
I didn't bring it up. Go back and
You didn't
listen to this
you didn't
stream.
tell me that. Alrighty, well, okay. I don't think you know anything about Shia. I say go read about it. See
I'm
what's
not
the difference
interested,
between
mate. I'm
what
not
they say in the
interested,
Quran.
mate. I'm not interested to go and read about Shia. I'm not interested. I don't have the time
Then
for it.
don't criticize me. Don't say that I'm wrong because you
You
don't
are
know anything
wrong.
about
You
Shia.
are wrong because what I know, they also believe in the Quran, and you're disproving that without
They
showing
believe
or
in Quran.
bringing
I
up
did not say
evidence.
they don't believe in Quran. They don't believe that this is the perfect Quran. They don't believe in the
Just shut
perfection of
up.
Quran.
You're just ranting at this point in
So
time.
now you're being ad
You're
hominem,
not
like
even
shut
you're
up,
not even
bro. You don't know
bringing some
anything. You're
credible
heretic too.
evidence.
You don't even take Quran and Sunnah. You don't believe that we should beat the wife lightly. You believe that we should thrash them, like
I
bloody
didn't
them.
say that.
What's the
Just shut up.
so how
Don't put
so
words in
what
my
so
mouth. I didn't
okay
say
so
that.
what is the how do you determine what beat means
I
here?
see. Look, if you have a genuine question, be upfront and ask me the question. Don't put your stupid words in my mouth.
I'm asking you how do you determine how to beat your wife?
Now, look, if you have a genuine question, you can ask me the genuine
I'm
question
asking you
without
genuine question.
inserting
How
words,
do you
without inserting
determine?
your stupid words in my mouth. All right?
I'm asking you, dude. You're being so silly right now. Okay, how do you determine how to beat your wife? Answer this question. Like, just answer it. Don't like think about Google it and stuff. Just answer what your theology is, your heretic belief is. How do you determine how to beat your wife? Like you read in Quran, and you say, wife, you see disobedient is her. She's like looking at other guys texting. What you gonna do? How you gonna beat her? Do you
You
go and
don't
get
beat
grab a
her
knife?
because she's texting some guys. You don't beat her for that. You
You
must be
beat
really
if she's
silly.
disobedient. You
You must
told
be really
her.
silly to do that.
No, that's the thing. How do you know these things? Do you have a wahi? Are you getting like these kind of messages from
Okay, you know what?
hadith?
You know what? Let me explain that verse to you. Okay? Just pay attention now.
You will explain to me.
Don't
Are you a
talk in
scholar?
between. Don't talk in between. Just let me finish while I explain that to you, how to understand that verse
You
and
have
how
to
to beat
okay.
your
You have to give
wife.
sources. Where are you coming up with this
Can I
explanation from?
explain that to you? That's what you asked me to do.
You
Can I
have to
do
back
it?
it up with sources too. Yeah, you can explain, but back it up. Just not your garbage. You're a really weird person.
Did you ask me to explain it? Yes or no?
Not your explanation. I don't care
Just
about
shut up.
this prophet.
If you ask me to
Okay,
explain it,
explain me
I will give
from
you
the
my
book,
understanding.
from the religious source.
Now
Explain me
look,
from the
if you are
religious source.
asking
Go
me
ahead.
to explain it,
I don't care about your
I'm
words,
going to
dude.
do
You're a
it my
weirdo.
way. I'm going to do
No,
it
I don't
my
care about that.
way.
Okay, no, nobody care about your word, man. See
Then don't ask me the
how you
question,
coming up
man.
with this.
You don't want to listen to the answer, then don't ask me questions you don't want
No,
answer
you have
for.
to provide
You
sources.
are
You say yes,
asking
I'll
me
provide
a
sources.
question and then you're putting a
Yes,
condition.
give a
It's
source.
not
Yes,
acceptable to
yes,
me.
because no word is cheap. Anybody can make an opinion. It's your opinion. Nobody cares about your damn opinion, dude.
Nobody
So
cares
why
about
your
your damn
arrogance?
question, dude. I don't care about
No,
your damn
I am
question,
providing
dude.
tafsir of Ibn Kathir. I'm providing verses. I'm providing sunnah. You're not providing anything. You're just saying
JP,
I
I did
believe
not
this
come
because
here
I'm
on your
Mr. Daniel.
channel to talk to this logical dawa guy. Okay,
Okay, go
if you
ahead.
want to
Like
conduct this debate,
you're
JP,
saying that
I
you
came here to
criticize
talk to
God's
you.
word. Like
JP, I came
you're a
here to talk
heretic.
to
You're saying
you.
that we should criticize God's word. Come on, dude. You're a heretic.
You may
Even in
call me
Christianity,
whatever
you don't criticize
you
God's word.
want. You may call me
Well, I am
whatever you
curious.
want.
Well, I am curious to know. I am curious to know because logical Dawa did ask you a question.
What
So because I'm a Christian, so what is the proper way to beat your wife? Because I obviously we don't believe that in Christianity. So what is the proper way? So can you explain that to us? And then I want logical Dawa to tell us what is the proper way to beat
Okay,
your
I'm
wife.
gonna be
So
talking to you,
Yeah.
JP. I
So
don't want
he's
this guy
asking
to
me.
interject
no,
while
no,
I'm talking.
I want you to talk. Just explain it,
You're
and then
asking
I
me.
want logical Dawa to do it. So go ahead, Prophet.
Okay, just bear with me while I pull the verse here, all right? So just give me a moment while I pull the verse here.
If you need humble servant to pull up a source, he would be more than happy to do that for you.
Just what's the verse? Do you know of the? Do you know where the verse is in Surah Nisa? Just in case, if you know.
No,
Chapter
I'm not. I'm
4,
not. I'm
verse number.
not a
Just give me a minute. I'll pull the verse here. Just
I'm not well versed. I'm not well versed on the Quran.
434 is what they're looking for.
okay.
434.
434. Okay.
Oh, do
All
you
right.
want? I'm sharing your screen, humble servant. So go ahead.
Okay. The verse is as follows. So it says, men are custodians over women as God has favored each other uniquely and because they spend from their purse. So righteous women are devout and obedient. They watch over their husband's absence and what God would have them guard. But if you fear domestic abuse emanating from their arrogance, first counsel them. So that's the first step the Quran gives. You can't even straight away beat if you find your wife texting
I
somebody.
still want to
Okay,
interrupt him, but I'll let
no,
him.
it's my time, so let me finish. It's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
time.
There's no first do this
No,
and
no, no.
stuff.
It's my time.
Hold on,
It's
logical,
my
logical. As
time.
soon as he finishes,
Okay,
hold
okay,
on.
okay, okay. My
Judges,
bad, my bad, my
you
bad.
will
Go
you
ahead.
will be able to respond as soon
It's
as
my time.
Yeah,
So
my bad, my bad. Go
so
ahead.
the first, I mean, if you deem your wife to be involved in some kind of domestic abuse, you can't strike her. That's not what the Quran says. The Quran says the first thing that you got to do is counsel, have a counseling session with them. On the second occasion, God says, in the same verse, God says, if they continue to do misbehavior, ignore them in their bed. Okay, that's the second step. As a man, you should be taking. So you should be ignoring them in their bed. And finally, if they still continue to do the same domestic abuse, if they persist, disapprove of it using force. You can beat them, all right? But before you actually strike your women, there are two steps which are important, which you cannot overlook, which you have to practice. And that is, you have to counsel on the first occasion. On the second occasion, you have to separate your beds. You can't sleep with her for some time until she comes up with a outcome or what of her behavior, what she will do. All right, and if she continues to persist in her misbehavior, that's when you can strike her. And the criteria for striking is if you cause damage. For example, if a man beats her woman, his wife, and say blows off her nose, you know what the repercussions are according to the law of the Quran? The law of the Quran requires her to blow off her husband's nose in retaliation. Because when the Quran says you can beat your wife, it really is talking about beating that is not going to cause adverse damage. If the man beats up the woman, the lady, causing damage, then she can require out of him in retaliation an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, nose for a nose, ear for ear, and a hurt equal to the hurt. But when the Quran gives you the permission of beating, it is only to disapprove of her misbehavior. That's what it is. Not that a man can end up breaking her arm or damage her nose or something like that.
Where are you
I'm
getting
finished.
this? That if you hold on, where are you getting this? And then we're gonna allow Logical to respond. Where are you getting this? That if you break her nose, she can break your nose back. Where are you?
Because
getting
that's the law of the Quran. It's just like the Bible: eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, ear for an ear.
Wait. So you're saying that that's the law of the Quran? See, I think Logical's gonna have a good day with this. So you're telling me that it's the law of the Quran, but that's not what the text says here, because eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth would be if somebody did you wrong. But in this particular passage, and Logical, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a Muslim, But in this particular passage, it's in a different context, which is talking about the consequences of what a woman does to you. And if a woman is disobedient, you get to beat her. But in the context of this passage, it isn't saying that eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, because this isn't an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth scenario. Logical, would you agree with me there, Logical Dawa? Let me know
No
what
way,
you
no
think.
way. First off, I would like to
Oh,
say this guy was criticizing me for adding the word lightly, which I didn't add. I was looking at the tafsir and the hadith. They all agree. There's no, if he's not agreeing to adding words, there's no first, there is no then, there's no and. It just literally, and if you read in Quran, Arabic, it says do this. It's there's no series. There's no and like be like separate bed, beating them and
so
hit
he
them.
added
It
that.
goes like this.
Oh, wow. I
Okay.
didn't know. All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah,
mute up. I
yeah.
didn't
But
know.
okay. Second point, I will say this that all this, if it was eye for an eye, so if your wife is disobedient, you'll become disobedient. That would be eye for an eye. Like you're doing exactly what the person did. So eye for an eye is. It's not up. It's not applied here. Matter of fact, there's a separate ruling for when husband is disobedient to wife. It literally says that you talk to him. That's it. For the husband, there are different ruling, and then we have to rely on hadiths to get the details. Just like prayers, there's a ruling for prayers, but there's no detail. We have to rely on hadiths to get the rulings. This is also like that. We have to rely on hadith to know that it says lightly, you cannot cause any pain. So yes, we have to do lightly because of the hadith, not because of Quran itself. Because Quran doesn't even say first, then. It just says do this. You know what I'm saying? JP Uncut. So yeah, that's it. I mean, is I would, like I said, he's not going to provide any kind of sources. I'm providing hadith. I'm providing tafsirs. You can read Ibn Kathir. He mentions that, and like the how it was actually, and also you cannot hit on the face, stuff like that. You cannot cause any bleeding. That's why slightly.
So can I respond to him?
Interesting.
Can I respond to him, JP?
Yeah, I mean, he's making some good arguments here, but go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, if you bring up the Arabic verse 34, he just lied when he said there was no process in the Quranic verse. There's a very clearly outlined process. Maybe he was blind to it. I will just educate him now. Okay, the Quranic verse, if you open the
Which
Arabic,
verse? Can you give me the number,
34,
please? I'm
if
sorry.
you open the verse 34,
434? Okay, yeah, I'll get it on the screen. I'm sorry.
Arabic, if you get the Arabic, I'll show him where the process is.
I'll have it in less than 15 seconds. It's
Can,
Quran.com, okay?
yeah, can I bring it up? Like, okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, fine. You've done it. Okay, so where it says, from the middle, you can highlight from the middle. Right there. Yeah, right there. Just yeah, right there. Be there. So the verse reads from there. وَاللَّاتِي تَخَافُونَ نُشُوزَهُنَّ. If you are worried about their misbehavior, like if they continue, if they prevail in their misbehavior, the first step is فَعِذُهُنَّ. That's the first step. You counsel them. You don't straight away beat them. You counsel them. That's what the Quranic verse says. فَعِذُهُنَّ. And then it says فَهْجُرُهُنَّ فِي الْمَضَاجِعِ. And abandon their beds. Abandon being, abandon their beds when you go to sleep. That's the second step right there. And then on the final count, it says وَضْرِبُهُنَّ. Beat. So there are two steps that precede the beating. So how can he just ignore it? He should be really blind, and he just lied because he did not know. Let him learn this now.
Where is the word and or and then? There's no summa, and it's if you
Do you
like
know?
just
Do you
move
know the Arabic
across.
word? Do you know the Arabic
Bro,
letter
I'm
for and?
responding. Just shut up, dude. You have this bad habit of talking over people. Anyways, so if you actually move your cursor, you will see the and then is in brackets. If you go to translation, the brackets are add-on words. They're added later on according to the tafsirs and hadiths. They're not there in the text. Whenever there's a bracket, if you read the other translation, let me see, older translation, actually there is no and or first or then. It just goes into, it's like, you do this. separate your bed, do this, and beat your wife. That's it. It goes in like this. There's no end. You do
You mean
all
these
of them
brackets right
together
here?
according to the Quran. Yeah, you
These
see,
brackets,
these
Coach K?
brackets are not in Quran. This is not from Quran. This is add later, based on the context from the Hadith and the Sunnah. If you have other translation, there is no brackets like these. Let me see. My computer is acting up a little bit. I'll show you a translation that doesn't use any kind of Hadith, and they don't have any brackets, and they don't say and or first or second. It just goes in. You do this. This is a formula.
Okay,
All
So
right.
let me see
yeah,
what he
Real
comes up
quickly,
with.
real
Let me
quickly,
see what he comes
real
up with.
quickly. Hold on, real quickly. Logical, Daniel, you guys, everybody stay here. I'm gonna do a quick transfer. So,
I
Christian King,
gotta
are you
go.
there?
I'm sorry. It's kind of
No,
late.
it's fine.
You know.
It's fine.
Yeah, you guys
No, that's
can
fine.
continue. Sorry to derail your. I just
No, that's fine. That's fine.
yeah, yeah. All
Listen,
right.
logical dot.
I don't want
So,
to see the comments. I just want to have a word on this topic that he just abruptly ended and went away without even sharing the verse that he was about to share to show me that there are no ands and
all
ifs.
right,
Okay, I
no worries.
just want to
Daniel,
clarify
we
that.
could do that. Yeah, Daniel, we could do that. But facts only does want to ask you some questions. Is that okay, Daniel?
Yeah, people can ask me questions, no problem. But I just want to finish off
Yeah,
giving a
sure. Share your screen.
conclusion.
Share your screen.
Okay,
Christian King will do that. All right.
okay. Just want to do this here. So the fellow didn't even know what letter in Arabic would be used for and. So when it says wa is and in Arabic here. So wahjuruhunna is and abandon their fil madaji in their beds, abandon them in their beds. And then again it says wa and wadribuhunna, and then you can beat them. So the first thing in the process to correct a domestic abuse situation at your place is fa'idhuhunna. So that's first thing. Fa'idhuhunna is to counsel them. And then comes wahjuruhunna fil madaji. And then you can separate your beds when you go to sleep, disapproving of the situation of her behavior. And then if she persists in her behavior, misbehavior, that's when you go wadribuhunna, and you can beat, God says. All right. So the Quran should be taken in a larger context. The larger context is an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, nose for a nose, ear for an ear. The same law, that's the Hebrew law in the Old Testament. The same applies. So if I beat up my wife and blow her nose off, she can go to a judge and have my nose blown away in retaliation. Okay, so that's just the way it is. When the Quran gives the permission to beat, it is for a disapproval. It's not like beating to submission. Beating to submission is not in the verse. It's not beating to submission. It is beating to for disapproval, because the wife was involved in some form of domestic abuse, which was an offense to the relationship in a domestic setting. So the Quran only advocates equality. So if your wife has been the source of causing some domestic abuse, you can retaliate, but it lays down the steps for retaliation, which the first thing is counseling, the second step is disapproving of her misbehavior through sleeping apart, and the third step is using force. So that's what the Quran says. And he was such a cunning fellow. He said there is no ends in the Quran and went away without demonstrating it. So yeah, I'm done. If you have any questions, I can answer them.
Yeah, AJ.